If she wants you tonight, she'll act like this. Listen carefully because most men miss this completely. Most people are trained to look for clear, verbal confirmation when it comes to attraction. They expect direct statements, obvious signals, or something that removes all doubt. But real human connection rarely works that way. Attraction often lives beneath the surface, expressed not through bold declarations, but through consistent behavior and subtle emotional cues. If you rely only on words, you will miss what is actually happening right in front of you. When someone feels a genuine pull toward you, it reflects in how they show up. Their attention becomes focused, their body language shifts, and their energy aligns with the moment. These are not random actions, they are natural responses driven by emotion. The way someone looks at you, listens to you, or finds reasons to stay engaged can reveal far more than anything they could say out loud. Learning to understand this requires patience and observation. It's about becoming aware of patterns rather than chasing isolated signs. Anyone can say the right words, but behavior is much harder to fake over time. When you start paying attention to consistency, how someone acts, reacts, and invests, you begin to see the truth more clearly. This awareness doesn't just improve your understanding of attraction, it strengthens your overall perception of people. You stop guessing, stop overthinking, and start recognizing reality for what it is. And in that clarity, you gain an advantage that most people never develop: the ability to understand without needing everything to be said. Most people move through conversations on autopilot. They hear words, but they don't truly observe what's happening beneath them. Emotional intelligence changes that. It allows you to read not just what is being said, but how it's being expressed through tone, body language, timing, and presence. When you develop this awareness, you stop missing the small details that actually carry the biggest meaning. Being emotionally aware means you start noticing patterns. You see when someone is fully engaged versus when they're distracted. You recognize the difference between polite interest and genuine curiosity. You pick up on shifts in energy when someone leans in, maintains eye contact, or naturally keeps the interaction going. These signals are subtle, but they are rarely accidental. This level of awareness also requires you to be present. If your mind is busy overthinking what to say next or worrying about how you're being perceived, you'll miss what's right in front of you. But when you slow down and pay attention, everything becomes clearer. You begin to understand people without needing constant reassurance. Emotional intelligence is not about manipulation, it's about clarity. It helps you respond instead of react, observe instead of assume, and connect instead of force. Over time, this skill builds confidence because you're no longer guessing. You're reading real signals, understanding real intentions, and navigating interactions with a level of control and calm that most people never reach. One of the clearest truths about human connection is that genuine interest never feels one-sided. When someone truly values your presence, they don't leave you guessing or doing all the work. Effort begins to mirror itself. Conversations flow naturally, plans don't feel forced, and there's a sense of balance that makes everything feel easier. This is because real interest creates a natural desire to invest, without pressure, without overthinking. Many people make the mistake of chasing attention, trying harder and harder to win someone over. But effort that is not returned is not a challenge to overcome. It's a signal to understand. When interest is real, you won't need to convince, persuade, or constantly prove yourself. The other person will meet you halfway, contributing their time, energy, and attention willingly. This doesn't mean everything will be perfect or effortless all the time, but the intention will always be clear. They will make space for you in their life. They will respond, engage, and show consistency in how they treat you. You won't feel like an option, you'll feel like a priority. Understanding this changes your entire approach. Instead of chasing what feels uncertain, you begin to value what feels mutual. You stop wasting energy where it's not appreciated and start recognizing where it truly is. And in doing so, you protect your time, your confidence, and your emotional well being, while naturally attracting connections that are built on equal effort and genuine interest. Most confusion in relationships doesn't come from complexity, it comes from a lack of clarity. When you don't fully understand what you're seeing or experiencing, your mind fills in the gaps with doubt, assumptions, and overthinking. You start questioning everything: their words, their actions, even yourself. But the moment you develop clarity, that noise begins to disappear. You no longer rely on guessing because you can recognize patterns and intentions for what they truly are. Confidence is built on that clarity. It's not about pretending to be sure or forcing bold behavior. It's about understanding enough that you don't feel lost. When you can read situations accurately, you stop second guessing every move. You know when someone is genuinely interested and when they're not. You know when to move forward and when to step back. That certainty creates a calm, grounded presence that naturally draws people in. Instead of chasing validation, you begin to trust your own observations. You pay attention to consistency, effort, and energy rather than empty words. And because of that, you make decisions that protect your time and self-respect. You don't stay stuck in situations that drain you or leave you confused. Over time, this way of thinking transforms how you interact with others. You become more selective, more aware, and more in control of your emotions. And the result is simple but powerful. You move through connections with confidence, not because everything is guaranteed, but because you understand what's real and what isn't. Attraction is not something you chase, it's something you align with. Many people believe they need to impress, perform, or constantly prove their worth to gain someone's interest. But real attraction doesn't grow from pressure or force. It grows from authenticity, presence, and the ability to be fully comfortable in who you are. When you are aligned with yourself, you naturally create an energy that draws the right people toward you. This alignment starts with self-respect. When you value your time, your energy, and your standards, you stop accepting less than what you deserve. You no longer seek approval from others because you are already grounded in your own sense of worth. And that shift changes everything. Instead of trying to win attention, you allow connections to form naturally, based on mutual interest, not desperation. People can feel this difference. When you're not forcing outcomes, your interactions become more relaxed and genuine. You listen better, respond with intention, and create space for real connection to develop. There's no need to rush or control the situation because you trust the process. Over time, this mindset removes the fear of rejection. You understand that not every connection is meant to work, and that's okay. What matters is staying true to yourself and recognizing where there is genuine alignment. And when that alignment is present, attraction doesn't feel complicated. It feels effortless, natural, and real. When you step back and look at it all together, a clear pattern begins to emerge. Attraction is not about guessing, chasing, or waiting for perfect words. It's about understanding behavior, energy, and consistency. The more you develop awareness, the less confused you become. You stop relying on assumptions and start seeing reality for what it truly is. Emotional intelligence sharpens that vision. It allows you to read between the lines, to notice what others overlook, and to respond with calm confidence instead of doubt. You begin to trust what you observe rather than questioning everything you feel. And that trust becomes the foundation of stronger, more genuine connections. At the same time, you realize that real interest is never one-sided. Effort flows both ways, and when it doesn't, you no longer try to force it. You respect yourself enough to walk away from imbalance and focus on what feels mutual and natural. That decision alone protects your energy and raises your standards. And ultimately, everything comes down to alignment. When you are clear, self-aware, and grounded in your own value, you stop chasing outcomes. You attract what matches you. You move with confidence, not because you control everything, but because you understand what's real. In the end, the advantage isn't in knowing tricks or techniques, it's in seeing clearly, choosing wisely, and staying true to yourself.